Welcome to Never Too Serious with Scott and Dave. I'm Scott.
And I'm Dave.
Hey, Dave. Roe versus Wade is in the news. You want to talk about abortion today?
Nope.
Okay. So, what else do we have on the agenda?
Well,
nothing.
Yeah, isn't that great?
No, I don't want to talk about abortion either.
Yeah,
it's too heavy. So, let's talk about Elon buying Twitter and how everyone seems to be freaking out.
Oh man, there's a lot. During COVID, I was thinking that there's probably a lot of maybe doctors out there that haven't had a lot of work. Well, I tell you what, they're probably busy now. There's a lot of psychiatrists out there trying to help people get through this. I mean, this is like, harming somebody dear to them almost. I mean, their reactions are.
I was really surprised.
I don't know. They don't seem appropriate for the situation.
It just seems like not everyone, but a lot of people are freaking out because they think that this is like the end of free speech. And it's like, well, you haven't really talked to, or you haven't really listened to what he's been saying. Because I think it's the opposite of that. I think it's less of the...
But the people that are freaking out about this is the end of free speech are the ones that are trying to keep you from speaking they're trying to not allow another opinion into the conversation.
Yeah. So,
I can see their panic, I guess.
Yeah, I can understand it. Well,
what? I'm going to have to argue a point?
Well, did you see that the federal government, Department of Homeland Security, is now have a truth? What do they call it? Truth Council or something? I'll probably have to look the exact term up, but it's basically they say that they're going to try and fight against disinformation.
You know how that's going to go, right? It's going to filter what they don't want to be heard.
Yeah, it seems like it's more.
I said that right.
More government coming in to tell you what is actually true and
because they've appropriate, what's not appropriate.
Because they've proven so well that they know.
Stay out of everything. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Everything that's bad out there right now is due to our government.
Yeah. Everything in the last 2 years, for sure.
I mean, the poor suckers that are following, some of the leaders, that doesn't help. But it's a disaster out there. It really is. And it's not just talking about gas prices. It's our food. It's what it takes to grow our food. There's odd, but there's all these. Food distribution centers going up in flames lately that nobody wants to talk about. Everybody else wants to talk about, Johnny Depp and his situation and not talk about why are all these buildings all of a sudden going up. It's kind of bizarre.
I've seen a lot of empty shelves. I haven't heard of buildings going up.
Yeah, I should look into that. I think Tucker might have even covered it once.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's there's a lot of things going on out there, and especially if you're focused on just a couple of, I don't want to just call them topics, but things that bother you a lot. You're forgetting all this other stuff that's getting passed up or passed through us, and
it's a lot of twinkling lights and things to distract us and figure out where's our attention going to go.
It really is.
Well, I thought it was interesting how so much of the last couple of years with COVID, there's been so much more emphasis put on what is truth, what's fake news, and originally it was really all about Trump and the things that folks were saying that he was doing or not doing.
Right.
And his big catchphrase was it was fake news. And then once he was out of office, then it sort of flipped, and now it's the other side saying fake news and disinformation, misinformation, lies, mistruths. I mean, there's so many different terms to describe it. But now we've got government saying, no, we need to establish some organization that's going to say whether something is true or not. And I'm like, government should be like the last place to look for something for honesty.
How has Facebook been doing it lately? Pretty good. All the fact checkers, they're terrible.
Yeah.
So
well, if Twitter is going to be a place that is supposedly the town square where people get to have some sort of conversation and dialogue, then let's let the people in the town square figure out what's true or not, and let's not have someone come in and say, nope, we're going to establish this
and ban this this topic. Can't talk about this, or start labeling it. This is too violent to be, might be violent for you or for some viewers or something. It's weird how they start labeling things, and it's really just a commercial, and it's like you guys are just making stuff up to make people have an impression before they watch it. Or
What do you think? What do you think the impact of this might be for other platforms like YouTube? Do you think that is going to change? Do you think having a freer Twitter is going to influence YouTube and others to be a freer platform?
If it shows a business success, yes. If business-wise.
Okay.
But I don't see anything changing for that to make it more centered. So it's more balanced, being able to have more speech or more freedom of speech. Anyways, I think it would take somebody to come in and actually change it, like what Elon has done. I don't think it's just going to happen naturally unless it's for some huge economical reason.
Yeah.
But
it is business, so yeah. So I think you're right. There have to be some influence.
Like, oh my gosh, these guys are skyrocketing. Well, we better relax on this. We better stop doing this. We need to start bringing it back to the way it was. And, maybe that would be a push for them to do that. And that's the only one I could think of voluntarily.
Yeah.
Or, for them to voluntarily decide, other than somebody to decide to come in and go, I'm going to buy it and switch it up. I mean, I don't.
Well, so our podcast really isn't that controversial. I mean, we don't say stuff that's too crazy, I don't think. I mean, we don't have a huge following, but our content on YouTube has never been flagged for any of these, misinformation, flaggings. One of our fellow podcasters, Robbie, out of the blank, his podcast has been like conversational. And he got through, I think it was like 1,000 episodes, took a little time off, came back and started pursuing guests that have a real like niche for specific topics.
Yeah.
Like he had some controversial ones that Joe Rogan had on his show, talking about COVID and mask wearing and this disinformation sort of stuff. And he's now had to move his podcast, the majority of these recent episodes, only onto Spotify because YouTube will give him a strike and take the content down. And I'm kind of curious if we're going to continue to see people making those decisions to move their content to some other platform.
Yep. I think it'd be wise of them. I think it'd be nice to be able to go, use their platforms and not have it so one-sided, or you not be able to express yourself or talk about things anymore, or be funny. Let people just turn the page or move along, or put a thumbs down on it if you don't like it, but they have the right to put stupid stuff on there. Other than violent, age restricted stuff.
Well, and Rumble is out there, and Vimeo, and some other platforms for content that I don't think has the same. They definitely don't have the same reach that YouTube has, but I think their platform might be a little bit more open to some of these things. So,
well, if that's the way that people are, leaving to go to, that'll help persuade them to, stop interfering with our freedom of speech.
Yeah. So we've talked a little bit about, like in our last show, we were talking about the social dilemma and how people are kind of like locked into their devices and not wanting to put it down and that sort of thing. And so many people are getting this dopamine hit because they're getting alerted by people commenting and interacting with whoever they are online. And I'm curious about if Elon Musk is going to take over Twitter and make it more free speech oriented, if you're going to see more people saying more controversial stuff to get more of that reaction.
good or bad.
Good or
getting attention.
Yeah, exactly. I'm kind of curious if that's actually going to happen.
Like people are going to feel more free to say the opposite opinion.
Yeah, like they're just going to screw with people more. I mean, I don't know if that's actually going to I mean, I don't know what their algorithms do for like curating and posting, for Twitter tweets in front of your eyes. But if people have more freedom to totally like screw with each other, do you think that is going to grow with this new thing?
Probably. I mean, yeah. I mean, why not? If right now I know there's a lot of things, including myself, where I'm like, I might want to comment and go, I'm not trying to stir the pot, but the other thing is that there needs to be that comment out there, So, but yeah.
I think on the bigger topics, though, right?
Oh yeah, I think it would give the freedom for people to be able to speak out a little bit more about the other side. Maybe spark some actual debates and conversation. You don't have to hate everybody because you don't see eye to eye on everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think it's a good thing all around. So I think it'll benefit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we'll see how things kind of play out, because I do think that we Twitter is massive, and I think we do need different people in positions, and that he's going to clean house a bit when he comes in.
Yeah, you would.
I would hope he does.
Well, it sounds like it's already happened, voluntarily. Like people are leaving or freaking out, and I think all the tears will rinse them clean.
Well, and a lot of folks, as they got the news, they started saying a lot of negative things about him.
Just when he bought, that stock.
Mm-hmm.
They were freaking out.
Yeah, before he even bought him out.
Maybe being on the board. No, not even buying him out. They were freaking out. So, now I don't even know. I'm sure some of them lost consciousness when they heard. Mm-hmm. Had to have.
Yeah.
Panicked.
I'm curious about the other social media companies, though. Like Facebook, the new ones, especially like Trump's Truth Social, Gettr, Parler. We're on Gettr and Parler, and the level of interactions that I have on those platforms, I think, are more mild. Twitter, there's just so much like hate back and forth.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't use it, so I'm fortunate there.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of curious if this is going to impact the population who have migrated to these other platforms because they were so tired of Twitter, banning them or not putting out their content like that should.
Yeah.
Because they're, Parler was totally shut down for a while. I mean, they were blamed for the
insurrection.
Yeah, the insurrection. I just thought, well, it's so weird because there were way more people on Twitter who were commenting negatively about that particular event.
I don't know why Twitter and Facebook, all those others, don't get taken down for their push of the Russia hoax.
Yeah, and that Steele dossier.
Yeah, they pushed all that stuff.
Well, now it's the Hunter Biden laptop. A lot of that stuff. Which, by the way, go back and look through our archives. We have an episode on Hunter Biden's laptop, and I think it's actually pretty good.
It is pretty good, but I think it's gotten even deeper since then. I think
more stuff has come out, but also more stuff has been verified to be true.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm. That's the whole point. All these people that have started using, you mentioned like fake news. Now the other side are using it. Now when the truth literally comes out, they call it disinformation and fake news.
Yeah.
And so now it's unfortunate because it confuses the population that deserve to know what really happened and let us decide whether it's good or bad.
Do you know how they define disinformation versus misinformation?
What is it? One of them is on purpose and one of them was an accident.
Yeah, I think disinformation is more on purpose. Like it would be like Russia coming in and creating some sort of propaganda thing to steer the population into believing or doing something by whatever information they're providing. But I don't see. I think those two folks kind of get mixed up because some people say that it's disinformation, but then they have no proof that was done on purpose.
Right. There's a lot of. It's easy to spread misinformation because it's what everything is.
Well, yeah, well, because no one really spends time to really vet it. I mean,
Right.
who has the time to vet everything?
Right. Yep. Usually, whenever you have time to go through one issue or topic, you'll find it to be not exactly accurate.
Uh-huh. Well, it reminds me of the Giants episode we did.
Oh,
We were just like, I was so excited to like learn about historical giants, and you were too. And
yeah, I was. Now we just have a bunch of big men running
yeah,
around.
that's right. They're all in the NBA.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if the disinformation thing. I don't know that unless people are empowered to do the research on their own and maybe find some reliable sources that where they vet things a lot more than other, then I don't see. I mean, a government entity coming in and trying to provide some sort of guidance is not going to
we'll
be
go
good.
that route because that's what they were spreading is their BS. So it's like, we'll trust. Yeah, we'll get the BS straight from the source.
But if it's misinformation, I would imagine if it's, if there's enough people within the conversation from different sides, that the misinformation would sort of get vetted out.
It would, yeah.
But I don't. Unfortunately, the way a lot of this stuff works is that you start moving more and more into your little subgroup, and that subgroup might be your only source of information, and so that misinformation never gets challenged by anything from outside the group.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's ever going to change unless,
especially nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, unless the algorithms change and the stuff that's curated for you based on your preferences or your desires or interests, unless that stuff changes and allows for a different side to come in, I don't see. We're just probably going to get more and more into that tribalistic thing. We'll never get out of it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Hey, what do you? I mean, I have an issue with aging and getting older.
Yeah.
Have you thought about your bucket list?
Yeah. Yep. I sure have. Ain't nothing in it.
Nothing in it?
Nothing in it.
You don't spend much time thinking about stuff you want to accomplish before you die?
I feel like I'm doing those things right now.
Really?
What I guess what I want, my bucket list has always been I want to build a house and build things and in hopes that it's going to be a place where I could retire and be able to put my feet up and go enjoy the things that I enjoy building. So, so I've always wanted to be able to build a house, one that suits. Maybe it's not the best for a bunch of people to come over and hang out, but it's a perfect house for our family. And, or for long stayovers, I should say, but for our family, works well. And then we wanted to have a place that we could go build things and have a room to have the tools to, let our imagination and to grow and have things when we get older to tinker around on. So, and it's just always a good thing for me to be able to build and create and.
But you don't have anything like major that in terms of, you created a place to actually build things. Now, what's on your list that you could talk about that you want to build?
Well, I already got a shooting range.
Yeah, I know. No, so here's the thing. For those of you who are listening, Dave is one of these people who, like, when he decides he's going to do something, he pursues it and he does it. There are a lot of people in this world who they don't work towards the things that they've established they want to do. You happen to be an exception to that.
Yeah, thank you. I try to get some stuff done, and Amy was like, my wife, she's like, I don't know how that's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. And she was never really down on me. She never said, like, you're never going to make that happen. But she had to literally put her hands up, go, okay, just pull me along. She had to put some faith in me. But so we've taken some leaps and bounds, and it was all for the good, But I mean, I trip once in a while, but I know a lot of people want to travel. A lot of people want to go see certain sites. They want to, skydive at least once, get certain feelings and stuff. And yes, there's a couple places I would love to go at one time or another in my life. But my bucket list is really truly just I'm kind of living it by building stuff I like to build and creating things and be able to sit down and live a long life and put my feet up and enjoy it. This was my hope. That'd be my real bucket list, is be able to enjoy what I'm building. But I'm not that adventurous anymore. So
yeah,
I mean, of course, I'd always wanted to go to Fiji or wherever it's at, where they have those huts that are out in the ocean.
Yeah, overlooking the clear floor.
But I want to go do nothing. I want to go relax and take it all in. So I'm not very exciting. My wife's bucket list is very full, and she has a lot of aspirations, and I do help her get to go do those. So
I think over time maybe your desires to do different things probably changes that you would never have thought you would have wanted to do.
This is going to sound so corny. So I will have to say, probably on my bucket list is to be to not have a broken family.
Oh, okay.
Try not to get my ass divorced.
Yeah,
I got to be good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it'd be really nice to be able to, break a little bit of a cycle and dive with the one that you gave your vows.
Yeah, the one that you chose to be with.
So far so good. I've kind of tripped along the way here. Got my ass kicked a few times, but she still takes me.
Yeah, yeah. I think you guys are very well matched.
Well, that's insulting her a little bit.
Well, I mean, well, it always cracks me up on when she calls you out on stuff and
everything,
and the sense of humor that you guys share. I think that's a really important one.
It's what keeps the violence down.
Yeah, it was funny. My wife and I, we don't share like the same sense of humor, but we understand each other's sense of humor, and that can be funny. It was funny this morning. I'm kind of a dad joke kind of guy. I just like corny stuff. I'm sarcastic, but my wife was so excited. She wants to take our daughter and I to this animal sanctuary petting zoo type of thing. Like she wants to
go hunting.
Yeah, my daughter likes to. No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My daughter she likes animals.
Yeah.
And so we've gone to a few different things, but there's these zoos where they allow you to go and actually hang out with the animals and that sort of thing. And she's
like a glorified petting zoo.
Yeah, yeah. And she was telling me about this place this morning, and she's like, yeah, I got a friend who found this zoo where kids can come and play, and said something that it's like, yeah, it's a discovery zoo or whatever, and she didn't even know that it existed. So I made the joke appropriately, oh, she must have recently discovered it. And she's just like, because that's a lame dad joke, but I laughed at my own joke. And she's like, well, I'm not going to laugh at that because that's not funny. and of course, then we get a laugh out of it because our sense of humor, what we think is funny, contradicts each other. But then when it meets in the middle, then we laugh at it. Yeah.
Well, 60 years ago, what was funny?
Yeah, but I think having a relationship that lasts, and break the cycle. I come from a family of divorced parents, and if you go down further lines, there are parents that were not together with their original spouse, or like my dear grandmother, love her to death. She's on her fifth husband now. Mainly because she's outlived them all. but yeah, I mean, I think that's a good one. She can
still go get a man every time.
Yeah, yeah.
Damn girl's got game.
Yeah, she does. But I agree. I think that's a good bucket list item. I wish more people in this world would have that thing is, stick with their spouse and build a relationship through the years so that they don't end up.
When people are in a room, they're like, yeah, I've been married for 14 years. I'm like, holy crap, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. I've been married 20. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, bless you, man.
It's not easy. It's
not
easy.
But so far, it's always worth it. Been worth it coming out of what a lot of times, people get in these little arguments and maybe some people don't want to be the right one or don't want to be the wrong one or have the wrong information, and so much pride gets in the way where you can't grow or get away from that conversation, you know, and it's too bad because, you know, they're going to upset you. Just they're human beings. You can't expect perfection, you know, just because you married them. Now they have to be exact certain way.
Yeah. But I don't think
it's so many little things that can ruin a marriage.
Yeah, I think getting complacent and not realizing when there's a little problem that you need to work on fixing it. Otherwise, it kind of gets worse and worse, and then you find yourself a few years later and realizing that you don't want to be together anymore.
Right. You know, or if you're like me, you just don't have problems.
Yeah.
I got nothing to fix, nothing to work on. I'm freaking just spot on.
Yeah, when you look in the mirror, it's so bright with greatness that it's hard to look at.
It spills out on everybody.
Yeah,
all day long. Oh man, no. Well, but what about you? What's
my bucket list is it kind of changes. There's one that's been one item that's been pretty consistent, and I'm going to drag you into it, which is I want to hike the Pacific Crest Trails. The Pacific Crest Trail runs from Canada to Mexico, but I only want to do the Oregon portion of it. And
it's like only 600 yards, right?
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing.
I could do 600 yards.
I will never have enough time, and I don't anticipate making enough time to do that entire trip in one at one time.
Right.
I just want to break it up. I want to enjoy it. I'm not into going out and torturing myself for weeks at a time. I want to enjoy the process, and so I'm thinking, breaking it up into, a few days at a time, maybe upwards of a week tops, but not doing it more than that, and then not trying to cover so many miles that it becomes miserable. I want it to be, it's already going to be challenging, but I don't want it to be something that I look back on and I realize that, it was really more work than it was worth. Because I do like the
By the time we do it, we'll be like, listen, for our retirement party, this is what you are going to go do.
I think we, with how our job vacation times work, I think we could probably squeeze out a few segments, every couple of years to be able to work through the length of it.
If we could pick some spots that I could get internet, I might be able to work through those times.
By that time, the Elon Musk, what link is that? What do they call that? It's like satellite internet. We'll get it from anywhere. I can't remember what he calls it.
I can't remember either.
Yeah, but I think for me, it's getting away from all of the busyness of regular life and just going for a walk and enjoying nature, and I enjoy being away from all of the crazy people out there. Believe it or not, I'm not a big fan of a lot of people.
Really?
I don't really. I don't like crowds, and to me, getting away into nature is a good way to simplify life a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's a big one on my list.
I would recommend doing the last leg of it. So when you're done, you could say you did the whole thing, or you didn't. We just finished. That was about 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 3 month long hike.
Yeah, long one. I'll get video and pictures and stuff. I'll probably document it, but not like I'm not gonna make like what's the Reese Witherspoon movie? She does the Pacific Crest Trail.
That's right.
Yeah, that was a big one. I don't want it to be like that. I don't want it to be that meaningful. Other stuff, though, I would like to travel. There's a few places that I like to go. I still like to go to Ireland. I wanted to travel around that big old island and check out, how, some of their little castles and
maybe we should my wife didn't get to go. Maybe we should bombard her Ireland trip.
Yeah. Well, and I have a friend that lives in Ireland, and he offered to, have a place to stay and drive me around a little bit, and I just kind of think eventually I gotta make it. So there's a lot of neat Irish culture that I'm interested in, and but there's a lot of places, like my daughter was talking to me about going to Japan, and I was just like I want to go someplace where it's not it's not so foreign. Like I want to be able to, the language enough to get around and read the language.
It would be helpful.
Yeah, be able to talk to people in English and get around where I need to go. But I'm not. My bucket lists are not like crazy things. I was watching Dude Perfect on YouTube. You familiar with these guys?
I've heard of them.
So Dude Perfect, it's a group of guys that have been friends since they were kids. Went through their, like college years and stuff, and they started having like these little challenges where they'd, trick shots and fun stuff that dudes do, and they've kind of grown this YouTube following to millions and millions and millions of people, and now they have like a traveling show where they create these challenges and then they try and beat each other or whatever. Well, one of the videos that they did was kind of like a bucket list thing where they went to Africa. They went to South Africa and they went to other parts of Africa where they could see lions and things out in the safari. And they did, one of them was doing a paragliding, which I thought was a really cool thing. I have never flown in a helicopter, and I've got this fascination with flying, and I would love to have an ultralight and fly an ultralight.
I used to want one of those too. I think we used to talk about it when we were younger.
Mm-hmm. And so that is on my bucket list. I would like to fly an ultralight. And there's a few different styles of ultralight aircraft, but that's another one I'd like to do. And I kind of feel like that's not a super dangerous. I mean, if the conditions are right, it's not a super dangerous thing to do. Sometimes I think about flying in like a Cessna or some other light aircraft that would be kind of scary because there's so many accidents on those type of things.
I know.
I have a friend that has, I guess he's had his pilot's license for like 40 years or something, and he's working on a plane right now, like rebuilding it, and he's excited about flying it again. But I don't know. There's something about flight and just the escape. It's similar to the Pacific Crest Trail where it's just like get away from the busyness. And I think an ultralight would be one of those things.
Yeah, I agree. I always thought that would be badass. We seen one of those. I don't remember what they would call them, but it's essentially like a propeller on his back.
Yeah,
and he has a parachute on, and he was just flying around over our house. I was like.
Yeah, I've seen some of those guys.
If something bad happens, well, hell, at least he has a parachute on. And
I think sometimes they have that a secondary like chute system as well, so in case something does happen. Yeah,
I don't know if I'd like to, like sit on top of a blender, having that propeller right behind you. I'm like, oh my gosh, it has to spin pretty fast, but still, how cool.
Is that a paraglide? No, that's not a paraglide. It's a I'll have to look that up.
I know. We couldn't think of it. We couldn't think of what the heck that was called. But I feel like it was so much noisier than even a ultralight,
Anything with a propeller seems to be loud.
Yeah. It seems like it took away some of the, serenity of it.
Have you been in a like a hot air balloon?
Nope.
No? Any desire to go in a hot air balloon?
I used to want to do all of that stuff, and now not anymore. I don't know what year it was, but there was something had changed in me where I used to want to hang glide. I wanted to do parasailing. I wanted to do windsurfing and so many things. And then kite surfing came out. I'm like, oh, I'm going to do that. And then I have no idea now. Like, I don't want to have anything to do with it.
I can understand
something about control, I think. I don't know.
I think for me, it's the physical aspect of it. When I was a kid, I was much more adventurous and wanted to do more physical stuff. I like to be comfortable. You're talking about your bucket list of getting, as you get older to build stuff and then to be able to kick back, go to Fiji and just sit there.
To be able to get there.
Yeah. But I'm kind of like that same. I like to go and relax. I do like exploring, but if it's like a real physical thing anymore, I'm not as interested in doing it.
Yeah. I'm a lazy ass, but I'm so busy all the time. So it makes me feel like I'm a lazy ass and worthless when I decide to sit on the couch and take in a show with my wife or something. I'm like, I could have been out there working for another hour instead, but I don't know. I gotta balance better. and that means relax more.
One of my early bucket list items was I wanted to be a mayor of a small town.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you better get a damn small town.
I was thinking about building one myself. I started off with a cult, and then
hey, I'll get you a cult together. I'll get that started up for you right away.
Yeah, I'll go find 100 acres out in the middle of nowhere.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we'll start.
I'll keep some shit in line.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, I just thought it's kind of a neat idea to be like a small town mayor and walk through town and people know, oh, that's the mayor. Hey kids, that's the mayor. Let's go get a picture.
No, they're gonna be like, that's some bitch. She ain't done nothing for us.
Yeah.
It seems like a good thing, but then it seems like you'll have a third of them that like you, then 2/3 of them hate you just because you're the mayor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wonder if I could get like a dictatorship going instead.
Oh, that's a for sure.
Just be called the mayor.
Just be called.
Why
not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think small town mayor probably doesn't have as many responsibilities and expectations, and you just walk down the street and that's the mayor. That sounds pretty cool to me.
Yeah, I think that would be kind of good. I think I could dig it.
So let me ask you about something else. You are a gun guy.
Oh,
and is that right?
I guess maybe.
Yeah,
I like a couple of them.
Yeah, you have quite the collection. It's pretty awesome. Is there a? It doesn't even have to be a weapon, but is there an item that you would want? Could be a vehicle. I don't know. An item that you would want to have that you could enjoy before it's all over. You're thinking through all of your gun lists in your head, aren't you?
I did, and then I went to a swimming pool.
Swimming pool? What?
Something I could have. No, because I feel bad because I know there's a handful of things I like or want, and I'll do nothing with them. There's a couple of guns I love, and I don't get to go shoot them very much, but I love putting them together and going, oh, that's right. That's perfect right there. Mm-hmm. But so, yeah, there's a couple of, like I have a bucket list for my guns, the guns I want to have. Mm-hmm. But.
Like what?
Well,
was a bazooka one of them?
No, believe it or not. If I could get the ammo, I'd take one of them things. No. So I've always wanted a Mini 14. Stainless steel, preferably, with a side float folder, the A-team gun. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is the classical machine gun in A-team that never killed a single person.
Never. I think they took more people out with heads of lettuce.
I think all the explosions and all the shrapnel from the gravel nearby probably hurt more people than their bullets.
I would agree with you on that too. Mm-hmm. But but believe it or not, that's a fantastic gun.
Is it?
Oh my goodness, yeah. Huh. Yep. Ruger Mini 14. This is just,
and that's what Hannibal always had with him, and I guess I want to say not all of them used.
No, but it seems like there's always a couple of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
But so that's what I always had. In fact, I told my wife, if I get the new position, I might want to, hook myself up with a little present. And she goes, I bought a jacket. She goes, you bought a jacket? I'm like, oh, crap. I said I wanted, but that was before, so she should have let me buy the jacket before I got a new position. But anyways.
What would the cost of that thing be?
Well, it's unfortunate because it's gone up, but it's in between $1,300 and $3,000.
Oh, okay.
It's not too bad.
I guess, well, yeah. I mean, the grand scheme of things, it's not like going out and buying a classic Corvette or, buying a Ferrari or... I know Lamborghini Countach.
There's something I've always wanted to do is they have this an ambulance, and it's not like the van ambulance that but it's like a box.
Like from Cannonball Run.
No, not like that. But it's a box ambulance with a van front on it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so anyways. I want to jack one of those up and make it 4x4 and make one of those a bug out vehicle because it has a lot of cabinets, a lot of places to do what
Sure.
A cool gun truck. So that's something I thought about doing, and I didn't. I had the money to do it, but I was like, oh, I don't know, and I got wimped out because it's quite a project.
That would be, yeah.
But
I mean, how often would you be able to like take it out and use it?
Well, see, that's the thing is, I wouldn't.
You just enjoy the project, putting it together.
That's right.
And, yeah.
I mean, would I take it out once in a while? Sure. You know, I had a Land Rover Defender, and I loved that thing, and I wouldn't take it out.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't drive it that much, you know, because it's amazing off road, and when the roads were really bad, when that thing is the best, I'm like, I'm not taking that. I don't want to ruin that thing, even though it would be the best.
That would be, yeah.
So, I don't know. That's why I try to be realistic. I know that there's, I know there's always a couple other guns, but but still, I just like guns.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's I have to narrow it down. You know, at my age, I can't have so many hobbies. I don't even get to play my video games anymore. I used to love playing video games, and now I just do not have time. To be honest with you, I know I spend a ton of time working on the shop out there.
Mm-hmm.
But so I know when that gets done, we're going to be having some relaxing times, but more relaxing times.
But not tons, not where you're bored all the time. I've seen you bored. It's not pretty.
Yeah, that's why I end up coming up with stuff to build.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, I have some backup plans just in case I get really bored, which I don't want to do it anymore. I won't want to do it. And my main goal is to pay off the house in less than 15 years and plan on just get ready to retire and hopefully kick it around here. If not, we could sell here and do okay somewhere else. So, and retire early.
I've thought about, I coach a lot, especially in the springtime. I'm out a lot. I mean, I was just telling you last night, I was at a track meet. We were setting up home track meet 9 a.m. until I didn't leave until like 10:30, and it was just stormy, rainy. I mean, the weather's been horrible this spring for us for certain, and it's just exhausting, and it doesn't allow me to do the creativity pieces that I want. I really enjoy doing my prep for podcasts and the behind the scenes stuff for the podcast, and I also do stuff for my coaching channel, and that creativity is something that it kind of fuels me. It makes me look forward to the next day.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get locked into just the busyness, and then you lose those creative juices. And I think that in retirement is really important.
Yeah.
Looking at my dad and what he does, he's a square dance kind of guy. He likes to do his square dancing things, but doesn't get an opportunity to do it because of COVID, and a lot of people have been shutting stuff down, or they're super nervous about coming back to square dancing because it's an older population. But I don't see a lot of the other creativity for him in retirement, and I'd like to see him get busy doing the things that I remember him enjoying when I was a kid.
Yeah.
One of the things that I thought my dad would eventually have in retirement was like a big shop to work on cars, because he's a car guy. He loves working on cars. At least he used to love to work on cars.
Now I think we found out he worked on cars because he had to.
That's exactly right. Yeah, he took producer E over and said, "Hey, I'm gonna need your skinny arms," because
that's great.
Because like when I was a kid, sure, I could reach in and adjust things, and he just described to me what I needed to do, and I'd help him out, and I'm too busy to do that. So Ethan is now he gets to go over there and help Grandpa out. But it's funny because I thought that my dad would have classic cars in a big garage, and he'd be tinkering and doing like kit cars and that sort of thing. And that's not how life has turned out. And I'm not even sure he has much desire to do that.
Right.
And that makes me wonder about how, as we get older, what our desires to do things.
What are you planning for? What are you gonna? Yeah, I really like to be able to sit out here and take in the scenery a little bit. I love to be able to sit out and have a little fire pit and just relax and take it in.
Yeah.
I like doing things outdoors more and relaxing. We're really busy people, so when I try to plan for my retirement, my goal is to have a nice deck with a pool, and that's what I get to be is come out and go do whatever I want to do to have the most relaxing time as I could get.
But then, you can't spend all of your time doing it, right? Okay, I guess maybe you can.
It sounds so appealing right now that it seems like I could, But that's the good thing is I could go swimming, and then I could say, you know what? Now I'm going to go do some other inventions and build some stuff in the shop, or I could come in the house and I can make my lawn nice, have time to make my lawn nice.
Yeah. Those of you who are watching this on YouTube, I want you to put some comments in what your bucket lists are.
Yeah.
Because I'd be curious to read through that and see if maybe I can find some new items to put on my bucket list.
Well, like I said, everybody's is different. And my wife, while I'd be sitting here chilling at home, she's going to want to go places. Some of the places I'll go with her, of course, but the frequency of things she wants to do, or the frequency of the places she wants to go to see, is a lot more than me, and I want to go. So
now, what is it about travel that doesn't interest you? Is it the people? That's it for me.
Yeah, of course it is. It's bothersome. Everything's hectic and crazy, and when I want to go to vacation, it's when I'm trying to relax, and it's always even more of a build up before you even get to the place to hopefully relax. And so it's usually fun, or excuse me, not fun for me to travel. It's so far usually I could say whenever I do travel, I go, okay, that was worth it, but it's still really hard to maneuver. I don't like it.
So those trips that you've taken, you've been to Hawaii. You like Hawaii. Is that one of those things where it's like, I don't really want to go, but then you go and you realize, oh, I like this.
I was nervous to go just because being nervous to go. I don't mind flying and stuff, but my wife had to lie to me a few times just to get me to go do some whitewater rafting. Was it like an 8-hour water rafting the first time I went? Because she knows I don't take things very easily. I'm hard to plan for because I'm going to go, no, I don't want to do that. So she had to lie about that one to get me there, and that was great. I'm glad I did it, and we've done it a dozen times after that.
My wife and I went with you guys, and I had a blast. I've been rafting, I think maybe 2 or 3 times, and that was the most enjoyment I've had doing it. I mean, it was just a fun group to go with, and the guides were more fun, and this was in what part of Oregon is this? It just left my brain.
Well, I know it was the Deschutes.
Yeah, the Deschutes River.
Hot springs or warm springs over there.
Yeah, it's north of Warm Springs. It'll come to me. In fact, there's a reality show on the river and exact place that we went.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, Jenny found it on Discovery or some. Yeah, and it's a shortened season, but we watched it and I was like, oh, well, we went to those places. We rode in those rafts down those rapids and experienced those things.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah. There's some scary times too, but man, it's fun. I mean, if you mess up, you can have a bad day.
Yeah. I didn't get thrown in the water, I don't think.
I don't know. I can't remember either. I know we had a couple people fall out in the ones, this is years prior. And I can't remember what it's really called, but it's like a meat grinder. And it's one of the worst ones. And when we come up out of the rapid, we're all celebrating. Woohoo! We look back. Where's Chris? Where's Chris? And he's still like circling around in the rapid. We're like, oh, not the place, not the one. It's when they say this is not the one you want to fall out in, and then you fall out, and there's a little bit of panic, I imagine. But no, I mean, I don't know. I've done a lot of cool things. I just don't adventure much anymore.
Yeah.
I like to go kayaking, not whitewater kayaking, but I like to kayak
I'd like to go camping because we've talked about this, going and just, setting up the kayaks and then packing up and going.
Yep.
And camping out someplace around the lake or whatever.
And I would love to say I could do it. I would love to do it this year, but by the time I get done with everything, the summer's going to be over.
Yeah.
I can already see it coming.
I know.
Time is not right. I want it recalibrated because I don't think it's right.
Yeah, I did find it Moppin, Oregon.
There you go.
Yeah. I enjoy doing that kind of stuff. It's a different way of life in Moppin for these seasonal, river rafting places, but it's definitely worth it.
Yep.
If you enjoy a little bit of danger and some hard work, because it is hard to do all the paddling.
Oh,
the guide yells at you to do stuff, and there's like this.
Perform.
Yeah, you better, because if you don't, if there's not a group effort, you may end up getting stuck in some place that you don't want to be stuck.
Yep, absolutely. We've had sometimes some close calls for sure. And then depending on what you want to do and how hard you want to work, there's some fun tricks you could do. Mm-hmm. That you have to paddle upstream.
Okay, so that was one of the most interesting things for me, is there's this ability as you go down the river to catch one of these, I don't know if it's an eddy, but you can catch this very odd upriver stream of water. So all the water's going downstream, but there's a place behind the rapids that sucks you back upstream.
Right. If you paddle up behind a rock, a certain rock, and the front of your boat will fill in just a little bit, but you got to paddle your butt off to get it there and find there's a sweet spot. Mm-hmm. And when you get there, you can actually stop paddling. And we call it ride the rapids or surf the rapids or whatever, and it'll sit there and hold your spot there for as long as
you can stay there.
Yeah, so it's just fun little tricks like that that makes it. I would recommend anybody going.
Yeah,
kids to adults, you can make it as dangerous as you want. And I also recommend getting a guide.
Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah, it's fun, and they help you get through some of the other rapids and get through it safer. Mm-hmm. I have yet to have a guide that was like overwhelming into my group. Sometimes it's a group that we want to do. I don't need you to like entertain us, and just get us down the river. But everybody's fit in so well. Mm-hmm. So it's nice to have. There's a bunch of good groups out there.
Yeah. Well, so as thinking in terms of the bucket list, if you're not a big fan of the travel thing, you want to kind of retire and be comfortable, but still have that creative outlet. I think that your tastes are going to change throughout the years.
Hookers and cocaine.
I don't think you're going to be that adventurous.
No, you're so right. I'm not that adventurous now.
Yeah. But I think that as times change, you get older and you get to a different stage in your life, you probably find some other things that you'd be interested in doing. I just want to get to a point where I've created an environment where I can't then pivot and do other stuff. And I think that is the rut that I kind of find myself getting into. I want to find an opportunity to thin down the busyness so that I have the creativity. What you're talking about, getting in front of your pool. Having the pool is great. Taking a dip in the pool and then being able to then do other stuff because you can.
Right.
And I think I want to do that. I don't want to be busy just being busy for the rest of my life.
If I could dare go back to the rafting, riding the surf or whatever that's called that I was talking about, find that sweet spot. Mm-hmm. Right now, I'm paddling my butt off to find that sweet spot to where the work is done. There's always going to be maintenance, but the work is done. Now I could ride the sweet spot. Now I could start remembering what I am about and, have the time to be a little selfish, because I know that everything that you and I have to do, we have to like shuffling cards. We got to shuffle our card in to our busy day to make it happen. So I'm looking, and maybe it'll never come, but, I shoot for it is that, we'll have a lot of times, a lot of free time to be able to, achieve some of these or enjoy the things that we're working for.
Yeah. Well, and who knows what the future might bring, with grandkids or, new people in your life that you enjoy hanging out with. You just never know what direction things may go. Yeah. But I definitely think the busyness has got to go away.
Yeah. That's why I always want to build a place where, a place that's going to be there. My goal is to build a place that's going to be there for a long, 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 long time, that can hold people to come and take a load off and relax. And, that's because that way I could still hang out here and have all the fun come to me. So I could enjoy everybody else's laughter and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I wanted this to be a place to host a wedding, even if I had to.
Wow.
So it's nice.
Not me. I get away from all that stuff.
Hey, anything I could do to not have to work, just work around the house would be great.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. All right. What do you say we close it up?
Yep. Yeah? I got nothing else on my bucket list.
Okay.
Well, hey, unless you want to circle back to abortion.
No, I don't.
All right. Very good. Sounds good.
All right. Thanks again for watching the show and listening. If you don't mind, tell a friend. We'd love to grow the audience a bit more. If you want to find more information about us, you can find it on our website
at never2series.com.
Reach out to us on social media at the NTS Podcast on Twitter, Gettr, and Parler. And until we see you next time, take care
and be safe.